This is not a myth when you owe tax debt. The IRS automatically would write off the balance down to zero. You actually don't have to do anything whatsoever. But you might be wondering, why is this possible? Okay, this is the 10-year mark. Officially, it's known as the collection statute at expiration date. Amongst the IRS and tax professionals, we just call it a CSED, CSED. The time starts ticking the moment you owe the money. So if you file and you owe, that's when it starts ticking. If you file your taxes, you had no issues, but you got audited 4 or 5 years down the road, it got finalized. As of that date, the time starts ticking. And of course, the IRS does everything in their power. They lien levy garnish between now and the 10-year mark. So that's why it's one of the very key aspects when it comes to IRS tax relief. Whether you qualify, and we go for the IRS offering compromise, the OIC, we want to evaluate if it makes sense, if that 10-year mark is right around the corner or if it's quite a ways away. And if it's right around the corner, the OIC just doesn't make sense on paper to go ahead and go through with that for many reasons, including the fact that if it's failed, it extends the statute date, or if it gets accepted, you have a new 5-year probationary period where there's a threat that of it coming back the moment you file late or don't file at all, whether you file late or you have new additional tax balances. So here comes in the CNC non-collectible status and the hardship payment plan. Both of those are based upon your current finances also, like the offer and compromise program, except that there's much less strings attached. Back-end tax settlement program. Because those two programs, if you get approved and accepted, it does not extend that 10-year time frame. I mean, in a perfect world, you know how much tax laws are stacked up against you, but it could change. These tax laws are written by Congress, and they could be rewritten by Congress at any point in time. The 10-year time frame is a very long time. Now, how much are stacked up against you? Imagine if the government owes you money. It's a 3-year mark. So only for 3 years, you have the right to claim a refund, which in my opinion, things should kind of be stacked and even. And somehow 6 years tends to be the rule, 72-month mark. For example, First Start Installment Agreement, they could stretch payment plans for 72 months. Also, if you have years of unfiled taxes, doesn't matter if you have not filed for the last 20 years, part of the First Start rules is they want you to catch up for the 6 most recent years. I'd say make that the statute date. Instead of the 10-year program, bring it down to 6. Still a long time. If the IRS can't collect in 6, more likely they can't collect in 10 years. But they should also reverse the amount of time for you to get your refunds back. Many life events occur. That's the reason why people get in trouble. But the moment you come out of the shadows, they should stretch it out and say, all right, you know what? If you want to claim a refund, let's go ahead and double the time frame. Instead of 3 years, let's allow you for 6 years. But when it comes to IRS tax problems, tax issues, and procedures, there are many rules and regulations that kick in. Either written law or statutes such as IRC, the Internal Revenue Code, the IRM, and also the publications written out by the IRS. And what we do is kind of merge them all to see what's the best possible way to fix somebody's tax problems. And what I like to know my client's situation before we proceed with services. At the same time, you're afforded to get to know me and what I'm all about. And if you have an IRS tax problem, a situation you want resolved, comment IRS tax help. My team will reach out and we'll coordinate a free case for you.